Hello, I'm Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to show you omelets. We'll look at a French omelet and we'll also look at an American omelet. With a French omelet, we already want to pre-saute all our ingredients, which I have there. I have the bacon, some ham, some veggies. You can do anything you want. Spinach, you name it, you can put it in there. I'm going to start with a medium-ish heat. In fact, I'm going to go a little medium-low. I don't want it too high because of me talking. I always get sidetracked and I don't want to lose the omelet with you. And then what you're going to do is put in a little bit of clarified butter, not too much. You want to have a really nice non-stick pan though. All right, and that's what I have here. This is actually an omelet. This isn't an omelet only pan. That's what it's made billed as because of the lower sides. But you want to get your butter in here, and then you're going to put in your egg. And the egg I have pre-mixed. That has about 2 teaspoons of heavy cream for every egg. They're whipped up really nice and fluffy. And it has just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper in there for seasoning. And then what I'm going to do is once the butter melts, I'm going to put my egg in. And this is roughly a 2-ounce ladle. So I'm going to put about 4 ounces of egg. And I never get the whole ladle full, so I add just a touch extra. And now we're ready to start. And here's the thing. People always think, oh, I know how to do this. I just let it sit. No, you want to keep moving it. Now, I do have the heat down just a little lower, so it gave me more time to talk. Is once it starts to set and coagulate, it's just like making scrambled eggs, you want to move them around. And this is where, you got to make a couple. They always say you got to break a couple eggs to make an omelet. If you mess it up, all it does is turn into scrambled eggs, and you put that aside and you do it again. It's not that big of a deal. Now, what you're going to see is it's going to start to coagulate on the bottom. And again, I could probably do it at a little bit higher temperature, but with trying to teach you on the camera and talking over it, this is a temp that I can control it. Now, as I'm doing this, what I want to get fresh egg on the bottom of the pan and then the cooked egg on the top. All right, and that's what makes the omelet fluffy. Now, when you're doing a French omelet, this is where we're going to roll the omelet and put the fillings in the middle. That's why the fillings were cooked in the other pan. And you can see me move it around. Sometimes I scrape from the outside like that and then bring it around again. This is looking great. And what happens is you start to get to what I call the point of no return, and that is where they're starting to scramble and you have to get the whole omelet smoothed out. And that's where I'm at right here. Okay, so I have the whole omelet, looking pretty good here. I got a nice even layer of egg. And the trick is we want to try to not have color. The American omelet that I'm going to do next will have more color to it. So we start to kind of pull the edges in a little bit. And then if I have any area that looks like super wet, you just sort of pull it around, pull it to the outside. See how nice that looks? A good French omelet has a little bit of wetness yet. But obviously it's a little too wet, but I have it nice and even. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in my fillings. And when you do the fillings, it's important to not, we always think the American way, bigger, faster, stronger. Don't overdo it. Just put a nice amount of filling in the middle. Notice I'm doing it perpendicular to the handle. That's going to be important in a little bit. Then if you want some cheese, this is some Colby Jack. Put the cheese in there. Okay. And you want to let it cook. And you want to do this until the top of the egg pretty much feels set and the bottom of the egg is still really nice and light yellow. Okay? And for me, I'm pretty much happy with this. If you like them a little more set. And it's still going to keep cooking, right? But you don't want it, that's what gives you that creaminess of the egg. And then here's where I'm going to try to roll over the first side. And I want you to see the beautiful color on there. All right, it's not brown. All right, we're going to get that on the American omelet, but on the French omelet, we don't want that. And then all I'm doing, you see how I'm nudging it? All I'm doing is to make sure that it's not stuck, and it shouldn't be. It's a really nice non-stick pan, and I did put oil down. And then you have to decide if you want to cook it a little longer, if you want to put a lid on it. Okay, and then when you're ready to plate, here's the fun part. Is when you're ready to plate, you slide the egg to the edge of the pan. Okay, and it's got beautiful color, beautiful rolled French omelet. And you hold your hand upside down like this, and then take your plate, and then you fold it, and you roll it. And when you do that, you have a gorgeous French omelet that barely has any brown, if any, color. It's got that beautiful yellow egg. And if you want, you can garnish. And with a little bit of cheese down the center. And you can even do a piece or two of bacon. And then a touch more of the pepper if you want. And that's just a really nice looking, clean French omelet. Now, let's take a look at an American omelet. Now, the American omelet is one that you get a lot of times at buffets and things like that. And I'm going to do like a medium-ish heat because I want to get some heat to it. And the first thing you're going to do, that happens, they slide off, is I'm going to put in a little bit of butter. And I'm going to put in my ingredients right away. So this is why you see this like at an omelet station a lot of times. Say, oh, you know, the guy has all the setups like I have over here, and you say, how can I help you? What would you like? You know, oh, I'll take some of those onions there, and maybe a little bit of that ham, maybe a little bacon, and then maybe a couple of those green onions. And then you start to saute it. And then after it sautés up really nice, then you can go ahead and you can put in your egg. So in the meantime, let's take a look at while this is cooking. Let's take a look at another type of egg that's very similar. Get rid of this. It's very similar to the omelet, and that is this guy. This is a frittata. And a frittata is something that I started it in the cast iron skillet. I put in the onions just like you see over here. I put in the onions and all of that, and then I'm going to do this next step that you're going to see me do and put the egg in and stir it around. Except instead of cooking it all the way, I got it cooked kind of all the way, and then I put it in the oven. And once it was in the oven, that's when I left it finish. And you can see that you can then slice it, and it turns into like a pie. And it's a baked egg. It's the frittata. So you can see me plate this guy out. It's got the nice color on the bottom. It's got that. It's a different type of texture, but with it being a frittata, it was already partially cooked first. Okay, it was partially cooked, allowing the eggs to fluff, then baked. Some people do like an egg casserole where it's more like a quiche type thing where they don't cook the egg at all on the stove. It just goes right in a pan. Now, with the American omelet, so you ask the people what they want, and you would saute it off. Once you get your filling sauteed, then you're going to put in your egg. Alright, so we'll do about the same amount. 4 ounces, it's like a 2-egg omelet. And then it's the same thing. You want to start moving it around. And you want to get the whole thing to cook. And this is what really helps cook the whole omelet through, is by stirring it. And then when you get to that point, bring the whole thing together. Now you're going to notice that happens super fast, and that's because of the higher heat. The American omelet, you definitely are going to be cooking at a higher heat, and with the American omelet, one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to have some color. I'm just going to move. You guys can't see any way to get rid of this stove a while. Okay. So we got that. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at it. And we want to make sure that the bottom has some color to it, and it does. And it's released from the pan. And now I'm going to brave it up here on national TV and see if I can flip the egg without looking like a goober. Make sure it's flipped, and it's kind of like in the wrist. Flip it, there we go, I didn't look too bad. Flip it over. And then you want to put your cheese on, and you're going to make this one like a fold over. So we'll put some cheese on 1/2. And then once we feel that it's cooked, we're going to fold it. Okay? Again, it's not going to take long. And then you're just going to fold it over like that. And that's your half omelet. And then we're going to put it to the edge of the pan again. Turn off our heat. And again, I like to do that upside down grab. And then we're going to put it on here. And we're going to fold it over. And then we can garnish with a little bit of cheese. Maybe some bacon. And some green onions. You can even do a little bit of pepper if you want. Okay, so there you can see the differences in the omelets. Let me put them side by side, and that you can see the French versus the American. Whereas the French omelet, the French omelet, if I cut it open, it's going to have that delicate rolled look to it. It has the softness in the middle. It has all of the goodies and everything tied in there. Beautiful color, beautiful fluffiness, and it's creamy because it wasn't cooked 100%. It still had a glossiness to it. And then the American omelet is where you get a different flavor. With this style omelet, it's sautéed more. It's sautéed harder, so you get that browning of the butter. You get that browning flavor. Okay, it starts the Maillard reaction type thing. And then you also see in there you get the cheese and everything else. And that's what makes it really nice. In that, I put the cheese in the middle and fold it over. So there you see the differences. You would hear me talk in class about American versus the French omelet. And then the other style would be the frittata. And that's where you see that you have your goodies in there, your ham and your peppers and all that. And again, I did it just like I did there, but as soon as it started to cook, I popped it in the oven. And it just puffs up, and then I put some cheese on the top, and then I actually hit it under the broiler very quickly to get the cheese to caramelize and brown, and that's where you get that look. So now you've seen with the first video how to do your soft-boiled eggs, and you got to see them from 4 minutes to 8 minutes. The second video, you got to see your fried eggs. You got to see a sunny side up. You got to see an over easy, over medium, over hard. And then here you get to see the French omelet where it's rolled and tight versus the American. And then you also see the frittata. In our next video, we'll take a look at the last of the eggs, the poached egg, and we'll make an Eggs Benedict. So thank you for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you again right here in Mr. Polk's kitchen.